Right, so good morning everybody. My name, as you can see, is Martin Huggins. I work for a company called BIM Management Consultancy, and we work with Wolverhampton University Business Solutions Centre to offer consultancy, training and help to companies who want to get into the area of building information modelling. The great BIM confusion. It's a lot of people think it is a con, as been mentioned earlier. Some people still think that this isn't really happening and that it'll blow away. We've had all the reports in the past years, Latham, those sort of things that have gone by the by, and this isn't happening. And there are people with their head in the sand. I actually worked with an architectural company where one half of the office wanted to be BIM enabled, the other half wanted to stay working on a drawing board, and that was because there were two principals in the company. So it's something that we really have to get our mind over, that this is actually happening. There is going to be no U-turn. But that raises a lot of questions. People ask, do I really need this? And the answer to that question is manyfold. To the level that you need it, where do we start? Do I need specialist software? What is PAS 1192? We've had that mentioned a couple of times. Is it just a document? Do I need to know anything about it? How deep do I have to go into it? What does it put on me as a business owner in terms of what I have to do in a BIM project? What are my responsibilities? Is this going to be expensive? All of those questions are legitimate questions that people ask constantly about building information modelling. The answer is specific to every single company, which makes life very difficult. You can learn from other people, but you have to look at your own company and understand what you require. So, who actually should be involved with building information modelling on any given project? Well, the answer is actually the whole of the construction industry. We're doing some work at the moment with construction product manufacturers who are actually going through a bit of a revelation in the way that they can provide information to a building information modelling project. And I use the term building information modelling because I used to work at the university and we used to go through all of the different definitions of BIM, and to be honest with you, I'm fed up of it. BIM, it doesn't really matter what you call it, it's actually what you do as a company and on your projects. So absolutely everybody is involved, even from the guy who's going to turn up with a couple of his men to lay the carpet in the building. He will have an input somewhere along the line. How that is captured is dependent upon how the BIM project is run. So, as a company now, from where you are today, how can you get yourselves ready to be BIM level 2 compliant, however big or small you are? So where do you start? Well, you won't go from zero to hero in no time at all. Some companies take years and years and years. I spoke to people at Morgan Sindall in 2011 about BIM implementation. They had a part of the company, 7,000 strong company, that were implementing BIM. Most of the company knew nothing about BIM. So it's taken them quite a number of years to get anywhere near being fully compliant with building information modelling. For smaller companies, and I've worked with one-man companies up to companies today that are turnover of tens of millions a year. You have to, as building information modelling is a process, the implementation of building information modelling is also a process. As you have to plan a BIM project, you have to plan your implementation. It will absolutely require some form of change within your company, because we all know that the company in construction industry has been working in one way for a number of years. It isn't working, which is why the government has mandated BIM on their projects. You may have to change software, you may have to change some of your infrastructure, you may have to change the way you do things. various things will have to change. Some things will not have to change. How do you decide what exactly as a company you do have to change? One of the other things that people often forget as well is that they'll buy some software for building information modelling, and then they'll say, right, we've learned how to use this software, we can use it internally, that's brilliant. And they forget that actually they have to interact with other companies. Collaboration is absolutely key to building information modelling. What processes do you have to set up internally that make you able to collaborate externally with people effectively? We heard earlier that information really is the key to this. How can you ensure that the information that you're giving to other companies is the right information, that it's accurate, and that people within your own office are not working, as it were, on two different streams of information? So, the university and the management consultancy together can help you to take the right step in BIM. So those are just some of the things that we can help you with. BIM awareness. What actually is BIM? What does it mean for you as a company? How do I set about implementing building information modelling? To what level do I need to go? Do I need to spend thousands on software, or is it just process that I really need to concentrate on? Standards development within the company, also looking at the standards that are required as a part of, say, PAS 1192. There are 5 documents, but there are actually a plethora of other British standards which feed into those and which you may have to be aware of and exactly how they work. Technology evaluation. A company we're working with at the moment decided that they were going to implement BIM, looked at some software, had vendors coming in saying, you need this, you need not only the one you've asked us about, but you need these other 10 as well. Do you really need all of that because the vendor is telling you? You need to evaluate exactly what you need according to the processes that you're going to be delivering for BIM. And then execution planning. And what that basically means is, how as a company are you going to execute BIM? How are you going to feed into what Vinci require? How do you find out about what they require? So you need to come up with your own pre-contract execution plan so that you as a company know exactly how you are going to be operating BIM, so that you can say to those that you'll be working with, this is how we work. Is it compatible? Do we need to change anything to fit in with the project execution plan? And this is, I just very quickly did this as a typical idea, and some of these things actually run side by side. But the first thing we always do is a BIM readiness appraisal. Where are you now? We saw that wedge diagram from no BIM at all to BIM level 2 and level 3 beyond. Where are you now along that wedge diagram, so that you can understand where you've got to, or what you've got to do to get to be BIM level 2 ready. Cost benefits or return on investment. If I spend, say, £20,000 on BIM in a year, what really is that going to benefit? How is that going to benefit me? We can do some forward thinking just to give you an idea of what the possible benefits will be. And then we can come up with a roadmap. So in 18 months, in 8 months, in 10 months, how will we as a company get to BIM level 2? What do we need to do? When do we need to do it? We need to really understand that. Involve staff involvement workshops, because one of the Achilles heels of BIM is that it depends on people. If people are not engaged with it, it will be very difficult to run a project successfully. So your staff have to be taken along. They have to understand exactly what is happening, the new processes that you're going to be using, the new software, etc. And the process design, or you mentioned software analysis, standards and guides, and that can be the external ones, the internal ones, looking at, as you as a company, some of the software vendors will give you a protocol for your company to operate BIM, but that will be a generic one. You need a protocol that suits your company, the people within your company, and how you work as a company and how you intend to work on BIM. And then we think about things like quality assurance. How can you ensure that the information that you're putting out is accurate? What processes do you need to develop internally to ensure that that is actually the case. And then we really start looking at software training and actually producing a BIM execution plan when you know what you're doing as a company. And that is developed for each company individually. It's not a generic thing. Each company has to be looked at separately. You've already had a very comprehensive idea of financial assistance. I'm here with Alec Gillam from Business Solutions at the university today. So please talk to him about other streams of money. They also work in conjunction with the growth hubs as well. So there is that assistance there for you. And finally, those are the details for the Wolverhampton Business Solutions Centre, which is up at the Science Park in Wolverhampton, just up the way from the main campus of the university. So, and that's me. Thank you very much.